competition of the year. And the players have had a bit of a rest, although Leighton Hewitt's been here for a week and he looks in fine form. A great year last year, and to come from 108 to 22. And he's ready for this season. He's up against a competitor, though, that's very tall. He's a tall fellow. He's 6'6", and Hanescu has had his best year, or last year was the best year. He got through, I think 4 rounds at the French, or got through the 4th round of the French, the 3rd round at Wimbledon. And he's a big, tall fellow, and you'd think, well, okay, tall fellow, he may play better on a faster surface, but he's been brought up on the clay and he's had his best performances on the clay. So this by no means is a gimme for Leighton Hewitt. I think Hewitt will win it. I think he'll get back the Hanescu serve and expose the fact that the tall fellow is not the best mover in the game. Hewitt was the best mover in the game, and he's still up there in probably the top 5 or 6. But Leighton Hewitt has to win this one. The pressure's on. But as he said in that little piece earlier, he doesn't feel the pressure. He's ready. He knows what it's like to be number 1, and he wants to get this even for Australia.
Great to have you on board, Fred, as always. And for the first time, hello to Pat Cash, former Wimbledon champion, 1987. You were one of the instigators of this tournament. You've been here 3 times as a player, once as a coach with Mark Philippoussis, and now as a commentator.
That's
Welcome.
Right.
Good to have you on board.
I'm doing the rounds, aren't I? I'm doing the rounds. It's fantastic. The early years were very exciting for us to come to Perth, and Paul McNamee, Charlie Fancutt and myself sort of got together with some concepts for the event, and Perth was the choice. We thought it was long lasting, and here we are all these years later. So it's been fantastically supported over the years, and as I said, back as a coach there for a while with Mark Philippoussis, and had a victory too. Aussies won that year.
Absolutely.
We couldn't pull it off. We lost in the final, but myself and.
But I
can't remember who I played with in the first year. Who was it?
Hannah Mandlikova.
Hannah Mandlikova, yeah.
Huge crowd here. Now, Leighton Hewitt, as you held the flag once high for Australian tennis, he has been doing that in a lonely sort of role for some time. How's he going to go today, do you think?
Oh, look, I think Leighton will get through this match. They're all always good challenges. I think, Hanescu can be a tricky player. There's no doubt he's got the big serve. He's got the big forehand as well. Hasn't had a great record against the top players, and I don't know about you, Fred, but I still regard Leighton as one of the top players. I know his ranking dropped a little bit, but I still think most of the players would also see him as around about a top 10 player, and he's obviously hoping to get up into the top 10 pretty quickly this year.
Yeah, well, I think he's got a big job ahead of him there. I sort of agree with Tommy Robredo a little bit there. I think they got him a little bit out of context where they said, Robredo's up against Hewitt. But, Leighton, I think, has done a fabulous job to get back to 22 in the world. But, as Robredo expressed, that jump from 22 to the top 10 means that you've got to win a couple of smaller tournaments, and it means you have to do well in the Grand Slams. You have to get deep into the Grand Slams because that's where you pick up your double points. Yeah. And to get into the top 10, that's a tough ask for Leighton Hewitt. But if guts and determination and desire has anything to do with it, that man on screen there can do it. And he loves playing for his country, and he won't feel any pressure in this one. And I look for he and Sam then, hopefully, to win the mixed.
Yes, well, the first he's got to get
He's got to get this one, though, exactly.
That's right. And look at that new haircut. Well, that's a statement, isn't it? It's fast, it's aggressive, it says, I'm here, I'm ready to go. Isn't that what that says to you?
Well, it says he's got a good barber.
It doesn't say much to me because I don't have any, so it doesn't do much there. But I think David Beckham might be happy with it, though. It's a little bit like his haircut, isn't it?
No, I think it's right. I think it's sharp. And warming up, Hewitt really has looked strong in the warm-ups. He's back to fitness again.
Well, as you see his folks there, and his new coach, Nathan Healy on the right,
who stepped in a couple of years ago when Mark Philippoussis was injured. He played 2 matches here, lost to Marty Fish in straight sets, but acquitted himself well with Alicia Mollick in the doubles, and they won that encounter.
Well, Nathan is very, very fit, and I think that's one of the things that they've been working on.
Hanescu to serve, first game, first set. And he's a player that has come here from the chilly climes of Bucharest, where the temperature was well below 0 around Christmas and well before Christmas. And he Thought his fitness might be a little bit of a problem when he arrived. Let's see how he goes today. Handy start, just a lazy backhand. Hewitt caught a little bit in no man's land.
I think it's very important for Hanescu to serve well, get a good percentage of first serves in here, because he's facing an opponent in Leighton Hewitt who is probably still one of the better returners in the sport. And if you're looking at low volleys around the ankles, although Hanescu probably will not serve and volley very much. An impressive start though.
It's really the sort of style that we've been seeing over the last few years, isn't it? That's a typical sort of play. A tall guy with a big serve, followed up by a thumping ground stroke. Only coming in when they need to, really.
Well, it's just like a serve and volley, isn't it? Instead of playing the volley, you let the ball bounce and you just crack it for a winner anyway.
Smack the foot, smack the ground stroke. Yeah.
Tidy opening service game to the tall man from Romania, and he leads 1-love over Leighton Hewitt, as the crowd in generous proportions today supporting Australia. A little bit surprised with the first result, with Sam Stosur going down after seemingly having it won midway through the second set. But Leighton Hewitt now has to do the business.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to hand it to Kostaya. She played very, very well. I mean, she's a very promising player, has had a particularly good French Open, and she's certainly another talent to watch. There's a whole bunch of very good young girl players out there, and women players. So they may not be that strong up the top, the women, but give it a few years and I think we'll see all these come through. Well, there's the advantage of the big reach. That was actually a pretty good serve from Leighton. Stick those long arms out.
Yeah, well, he stands 198 centimetres tall, 6'6" under the old scale, with a great wingspan. And Fred, you mentioned Hewitt representing his country, a 32-8 record in singles in Davis Cup, and he did, in response to a question about how will he be remembered, he said, as a fighter, someone who gave 100% every time he stepped out.
That he will be remembered for. There's not a scrappier player out there. At his best, he was the quickest man on the tour in 2000, 2001. I think the difference over those last 10 years is the fact that I believe now the players against him are hitting the ball about 20% harder than they were in 2000, 2001, and that's been a difference.
Well, off the ground strokes particularly, I think around that era they had faster servers. I mean, you took Sampras, Ivanisevic, Krajicek, Philippoussis, that sort of stuff. Massive servers. It was a sort of a serving era, but now I've got the era of the big ground strokes, and it's tough to compete with those guys if that's what you do.
Now build for a job. Del Potro. Who doesn't he crack it?
Goodness. That's a very exciting player to watch. I've sort of tipped him as a future #1 player in the world.
And the pressure again put on Hewitt with the forehand, threading the needle, and break points.
A couple of nervous sort of backhands, isn't it? A bit tentative.
A couple of them. Interesting with this tall fellow, Hanescu, reminds a little bit of Robin Soderling, who took out Nadal, first one to beat Nadal on a clay court in about 5 years, and he won it by cracking ground strokes on a slow court. And that's basically what Hanescu is going to do, is have a crack at the forehand when he gets the opportunity.
Nice. Well done. Stinging rally. Good depth from both players, but Hewitt with that pace, scurrying along the court and swooping at the appropriate moments. That'll be a confidence booster.
This was not an easy shot, this last one, because it comes off the line from Hewitt, and he's got to be careful and make sure he gets it over the top of the net with some air, so it's not going to go into the net. Top spin on the run.
Gee, that was a glare from Hanescu, wasn't it?
I think he's, yeah.
Well, I'd like to see that in a dark alley.
You had to do it on the line, really, Hewitt.
Advantage, Australia.
Crowd still thinking about the previous points. So Hewitt with a game point.
First service.
You mentioned Soderling. I think he beat Roger Federer for the first time ever overnight in an exhibition in the Middle East.
Yep. He's a good player. Growing with confidence.
Oh, so close.
Well, confidence in our sport is such a big thing, isn't it? You know, really, these players have been around for a while. Talk about Hanescu and Soderling, and all very competitive, but then you get a couple of wins, and then you believe that you can go out and play against anybody.
Decisive from Leighton Hewitt. And he's had a couple of confident moments in this game so far, bringing up another game point. Set up by the serve. Couldn't thread the needle. Back to Juice.
Hanescu is going to challenge this one.
On the left service, the ball's all good.
186 kilometres an hour.
Straight down the tee. It'll be a close one.
Great theatre as always, and it does catch the line.
You get a wry smile from Hanescu there.
Not the worst challenge you've seen, Fred.
No, not at all. Definitely they get a few of them. There's no good leaving them out there. But again, there's a tactic as to when you should use them also on big points.
A couple of errors from Hewitt mixed in with some authoritative play in the opening couple of games, particularly this service game. But he'll just enjoy ironing out the kinks in his first few matches of the year. Hopefully 4 from his perspective.
Well, I've talked about that earlier, the first tennis of the year, and all the players have had time off, whether it's 3 weeks or a month or even a couple of weeks, and then they come back and they practice for long hours to get back into shape, but it's not the same as match play.
Oh, wow. Delightful from the big man. He mixed some bludgeoning ground strokes with a little bit of finesse there.
It takes a good drop shot to get past Leighton Hewitt, doesn't it? And he steps in on that first one. Looks like he's going to do something similar and just comes under it.
Well disguised,
nice. Yeah. Beautiful. Wouldn't mind seeing that out of just out of a bunker or short to the green, huh? There's beautifully
Little chip, yeah.
chipped underneath it. Very similar, actually, the way they
Play that shot, yeah.
shot in golf and tennis.
2-love, first set. Oh, that's Hanescu, who's come out of the blocks
15-love.
swinging and probing and playing with a lot of confidence.
Well, those ones are tricky. We saw Leighton put one away, but the balls will sort of drop short and just start dipping below the level of net. As Fred said, you've got to get it up very quickly over the net and then down, and particularly these guys with the Western grips or the grips turned around facing the ground. It's tough to do that.
Oh, sweet as you like.
Well, he's come out of the blocks in a hurry. He has yet to miss a first serve, and that's 6 points in a row. He's won on serve. It's huge forehand. He just uses the pace of Hewitt's forehand and adds a little bit to it.
Well, he served at 69% last year, Fred, which is
big
pretty
man,
good.
yeah.
It's a good number.
Yeah, you don't lose your serve too often, serving at that rate. This is unbelievable
40
serving.
love.
Oh, it's advantage of having that height.
Yep.
It's supposed to be like most of us, we wind the net down about a foot. Well, you're tall. You had an advantage back in your day.
I did.
How
yeah,
tall
a little
are you?
bit. I was 6'3". I've been hammered down a little bit. Yeah.
In high heels, was it?
Fred.
That's right. You're one of the tall ones.
I saw you walking the banks this morning, Fred. Still tall.
Game Romania.
Well, the crowd's a sort of muted response here.
Romania
More
leads
of
3 games to
shock
none.
than bad sportsmanship, one would think, because Hanescu is giving Leighton Hewitt a little bit of a lesson here. 3-love, first set.
Well, yeah, a little bit of a lesson, but obviously a long way to go. And I think one of the crucial things about Leighton Hewitt's game is his serve. I think when Leighton serves well, let's have a little look at his serve here. He's quite side-on action as his ball toss arm gets up really nice and high. That's one of the great things about his serve. I think is one of the weaknesses is sort of where his feet placement are. And where his knees bend. They sort of bend sidewards and not towards the court, but he unleashes very well, unwinds very, very well. So he turns around from there, from where his knee position and feet position to get right around to a nice open position. So in a way he gets the rotation, almost closes off, but then whim, quickly unwinds and snaps through, and that's where he gets the pace. And let's have a little bit closer look at his feet. It's very popular these days, ever since Pete Sampras started doing the toe up sort of thing. There he goes. Now that's when he becomes side on. See where his knees are? They're pointing along the baseline. So he's the best servers in the world. They'll be pointing, the knees will be coming slightly more forward into the court. That means he's side on, but he unleashes very well, unwinds very, very well.
Also at times that front foot turned back towards the
15 love.
back of the fence,
Almost
doesn't it?
backwards.
And the heel sort of leads in, and so he's got to go a little bit further around with the swing.
I was interested to see this. This is actually probably the best foot placement I've seen him have in a while. You're right. He actually sometimes literally faces. They face backwards, which means even more twisting and turning.
Again, Hanescu grazes another forehand on the line and then backs it up with some strong play at the net. 15 all.
Very good point until the volley. Really, that didn't do much, and Leighton really didn't time the lob. But up to that volley, very, very good point from Hanescu.
30-15.
Well, Hewitt's first 2 games last year, coming off that hip injury, he did, first 2 matches, he did lose the first set in both, in tiebreakers. So he might be a little slow out of the blocks this time of year. lost to Dominic Arbati and Nicholas Kiefer.
Well, he hasn't played
before winning the matches.
Hasn't played for a while, Leighton.
That's better.
Great footwork here, getting around there. Look how quick his feet are. And, you know, one of the great movers in the modern game of tennis. Absolutely fantastic footwork. That's lovely.
Hewitt pouncing initially on that short ball from Hanescu, and he's on the board. And the crowd is collectively delighted.
Just shows you his volleying capabilities. He's won a Grand Slam at the US Open and a very accomplished volleyer.
I'd love to see him use that more.
Yeah,
part of his game.
We've been all wanting to do that for 10 years, haven't we?
I mean, yeah, we've been trying to encourage him and talking about it, and maybe this sort of was the latter part of his career, shall we say, he might start to come forward a little bit, shortening up the points and using those technically very sound volleys.
Yeah, I think last year he was a little more aggressive than he was in probably the last 3 or 4 years. But this is his expertise. He uses the pace here beautifully. He gets himself set on this forehand, on this backhand, the two-fisted backhand. Very straight arms as they go back and then comes through. A little bit different to some of the other players' two-fisted backhands. And very reliable.
Oh, Hewitt stepped it up a notch. The last few points have been a delight to watch for all concerned, Mum and Dad, the fans, and for the man himself.
There's our first come on. That's one of his favourite shots, to go back in behind his opponent as opposed to the open court.
Frustration. Hewitt sized up the moment, teed off, and really had a big opportunity for love 40 there.
Well, this is sort of where Federer has a great success these days, is sort of forcing his opponent to come in. Hewitt did the exactly same shot. Hanescu had to come forward, left a bit of a gap, but didn't quite get it.
Perhaps the point still riding on the consciousness a little bit. Back to 30 all.
Uncharacteristic miss there from Hewitt, though, just in a rallying position with the two-handed backhand. You don't see him miss too many of those.
Oh, he's missed a few today, hasn't he?
Yeah,
but
he
I think he'll tighten that up in time. One of the players I'm looking forward to seeing is Andy Murray. I think the Australian public would enjoy his craftiness around the court.
40-30.
He's a guy who's got a big, very big game, super athlete. He's almost like Leighton's big brother in a way. And I put another 15 centimetres, put a bit more muscle on Leighton and got Andy Murray, but very crafty.
Game Romania.
Well, the Hewitt is
Romania lead for
sort
games
of half
1.
limp there just for a moment, but he was stuttering back to the chair, and he'll be a little bit unhappy with the game after having love 30 and a big chance for love 40. He conceded it rather limply, 4-1 to Hanescu. And funny a style, nice fluidity from the tall man.
Well, he's got certainly got the height, and we see him using that on his serve. But he's also moves very well for a big guy, and got a couple of players on the circuit now who are tall and still move very well. Built very similar. Del Potro. We've got John Isner. I was going to say, two guys here we'll see this week. Very tall, move well, and technically very good. Nice big flowing backhand, and that's a nice forehand as well. That was a ripper, that one. They just caught it a little bit late and just sort of flicked his racket through the ball. You saw he's had it, as you said, Fred, he's had his best year. He hasn't really beaten them in the top players, but he's sort of knocked off the second rung, the lower rung tournaments. Constantly being successful out there.
Been in the top 50 the last 2 years, and so when you're making a few bucks if you're in the top 50.
Love 15.
Yes, compared to Hewitt, the prize money not quite there. 2,279,000 over his 10-year career. But still a tidy amount. He's been in the top 50 3 times all up.
A bit of a injury patch in the middle there. Somewhere he's
stomach muscles
dropped altogether, and he's worked his way back up.
15 all.
Yes, well, that's his big aim, to have some fitness going forward into this year. And I think when you're getting to 26, 27, 28, as these two players are, that's right in the mind, isn't it? Pat, trying to elongate your career. As Hewitt said, he didn't think much about it when he was 19, 20.
That's right.
30.
Don't think much about anything when you're 19 or 20, do you?
Girls.
You get,
Girls, it's tennis balls. That's a great serve, this one. One of his better serves. Takes a little bit of pace off it. Make sure it keeps curling away.
Can't do it any better. Back in behind your opponent. That's a good shot.
30 all.
And it was a couple of ground strokes, heavy ground strokes, that got him into this position. Look how short that ball was. Sits up right in the slot for the backhand. Good shoulder turn. Great execution. Racket going right out towards the target.
Lots of depth from both players. A fairly large point from the Hewitt perspective and the Australian team's perspective. This, for the favourites, is a must-win match. And Hewitt down, still just the break, but 1-4 in the first set as a game point. A tidy way to bring it up with his 4th ace. And it's now 4-2.
Hanescu.
Nice bit of curl on that one as well.
Well, he gets that from the way you were talking about, the way he gets to the serve. I've got a question about that serve. We talked about his footwork. You were a guy that changed your service motion after you basically retired and came back and played senior tennis, or was it a bit before that?
Yeah, just towards the end there, yeah, because my back and I needed extra power and everything, so I had to sort of redesign the game. It was very, very interesting.
Oh, again, some feathery touch from the big man, Hanescu.
He doesn't panic, Hanescu. Brings Hewitt in again here, and that takes some doing. And draws him in and then backs himself. He plays that purposely and brings him in and backs himself on the backhand pass.
I haven't seen too many loose shots from Victor Hanescu so far today. 15 all. And,
a lot of perspiration. It's very warm down there. You can see the fans are fanning themselves there.
No air at all, is there? It's just
30-15.
hot and sticky. A bit hotter than Bucharest, I would imagine. It was 3 days ago.
Hewitt did a lot of hustling, a lot of hard work to gain the slight opening in that point, and Hanescu couldn't meet the challenge.
Well, look at this. It's not a bad volley. Hanescu picks the side and actually overruns it. He's those long arms of his. He had to get him back in pretty quickly. But that was clever. That was good play. It was a tough backhand volley. He did enough with it. Sucked Hewitt in for the down the line passing shot. Well, picked the side and messed up the volley.
Oh, Hewitt at full stretch with the return. And that gives him a break point opportunity to get back on serve. And it seems to have come almost out of nothing. But there's that characteristic Hewitt tenacity. Hewitt gobbles up the opportunity with a vociferous come on. Applause from his sector and the crowd. And he's back on serve, trailing 3-4. First set, 29 minutes of action.
Interesting stage of the match now, because Hanescu has shown us that he does anticipate well when he's coming into the net. He knows what he's doing, and Hewitt then, we know that he's going to stay in there and hang in there. And the final point of this second serve, he's got to wait for Hanescu to miss a few first serves. He did in this point, and Hewitt was in control at this point right from the very get-go until the come on, and he's back in the match.
That's right. He's not going to get the way that Hanescu's been serving. Percentages, pretty high. You've got to sort of sometimes just bide your time and wait for the second serve, and then you really trying to take advantage of the second serve, and that again puts another type of pressure on you, because you realise, well, here's a second serve. Should I go for it, or should I just not miss it, or what should I do? And he needs to go for it, Leighton. He doesn't want Hanescu to get on top in the rally, so he has to do something with a second serve. And
well, that comes out in the percentages there too, doesn't it? Look at it. He's won 50% on second serves, Hanescu. And when he gets the first serve in, it's about 80%. So, Hewitt, as you mentioned, has to take the opportunities when they're presented, and he misses the first serve. He's got to take opportunities on the second.
Hewitt has aspirations to be a top 10 player again. You both say you regard him still as one of the top players. Yet he's only won 2 tournaments in virtually the last 3 years, or 2 3/4 years. Does that dent the confidence a little bit for the Hewitt camp?
Well, he has been coming back from injury, so I think the number one thing for him, first thing, is to stay fit, give himself a chance at least to compete. And then you have to look at the game, his game. Does it match up well with the other players? What can he do to counteract it or improve his game? And that's the big question, I think.
Oh, sweeping cross-court plunder from Hewitt. That was a lot of memory and a lot of current ability as well in that shot.
This is what we've been trying to get him to do. Be aggressive, isn't it? Get that big shot. He needs a big shot if he's to stay up there with the top boys. You need something where they respect the fact that if they get it in that position, you're going to knock the winner off.
Hewitt anticipated, but a rather imposing presence at the net. Hanescu.
He's played a good match so far, Hanescu. Whether the wheels will fall off at some stage, we'll have to wait and see.
No. When you look at the record, just one career title. He did beat Igor Andreev in Gstaad back in 2008. You sort of look at his game and you think, why just one?
There's a lot of good players out there, and it's the men's circuit itself is very, very competitive, super tough.
And Gstaad fits right into his game plan too, because it's high altitude, and if he serves well up there, it's just too tough.
5th ace for Hewitt, and a point away from 4-all after trailing 1-4. Oh, just missed. Sensational rally from both players, and again enormous pressure applied by Hanescu at the net.
Well, you can see why Hanescu does so well at Wimbledon on the grass. He's not afraid to volley, and he's making sure that when he gets in there, he's got a good crack at the volley, and Hewitt's got to come up with a terrific passing shot on the run. He's played some good volleys.
Of course, he's a fair amount of height on him too, not easy to lob, so players are drawn to try and pass him.
Just caught the tape.
That's where Leighton can get himself into trouble. If he drops the ball slightly short, the players these days will absolutely thump it, and that's exactly what Hanescu did. Leighton just dropped the ball a little short, and early on in the season here, he's going to be, struggling to find his accuracy. And Hanescu right on top for the forehand, drilling that in.
Break point, big point here.
Game, Romania.
Well, that is the surprise. He just seemed to be getting the rhythm back in the game, and then 2 aberrations, and he finds himself now down the break again, and Hanescu with the big serve, serving for the first set.
Gee, double faults have been costly for Stosur in the women's singles, and now Hewitt here when he battles back down a break point and gives up a double fault.
He's prowling. Thinks that caught the corner. Just having a closer look, and now he'll challenge the call.
This will be handy for him if it's called good. So important. Serving for this set or a match. Get that first point.
Oh, again, he's missed out by the smallest margin.
Certainly was worth the challenge anyway.
4 millimetres.
How do you know that?
Just got this razor sharp eye.
It's incredible from up here.
Romania has 1 challenge remaining.
Assisted by Hawkeye and its statistical analysis.
Well, Australia were favourites going into Hopman Cup 22, and they're on the back foot right now.
Oh, funny old game, this one. 2 bad returns, double fault. There's a bit of, it's amazing what can happen when you have to serve for a set, isn't it?
Now the accuracy of just deserted him a little bit. A short, not unplayable second serve, and Hewitt balloons it long to give his opponent 2 set points now.
It's quite clever from Hanescu. He didn't want a double fault. He served it into the body, and with his height, it jumped right up to Leighton's chest.
Game and for set Romania. 6 games.
Well, some rather tepid applause for the tall Romanian. Certainly not from his teammate, Sorana Castella. He has beaten or taken the first set. He certainly hasn't beaten him yet, but he's beaten the odds to take the first set 6-3. And plenty of highlights from the racket of the Romanian.
Well, he started off brilliantly, didn't he, Hanescu? Right from the get-go, came out, won the first 6 points on his serve, never missed a first serve. But this is a very long rally, and that, as Pat mentioned earlier, you get that one a little bit behind him and flicks the winner. But Hewitt hangs in there. But Hanescu goes behind Hewitt again. That's a great play. But the short ball, you've got to keep the ball deep these days. Anything short, players deal with. Again there, that one short, and it sets up the easy overhead. Just has to lean on that one, didn't have to hit it. And again, Hanescu there with the big forehand. Hewitt trying to match him with pace. That's a tough thing to do. And again, draws the short ball, and then the winner comes through. And the big serve. So Romania 1 set to love, and they lead it by 1 match to love.
Yes, well, he won 27 matches, I think, last year, surpassing the previous best 26 back in 2005, which is his previous best year. So he's coming off some good form. Leighton Hewitt, the ankle.
He wears the ankle guards on both ankles. That's just more prevention. There's nothing wrong with him at the moment. Tough thing, he has had that hip operation, and he's come back. And that's a tough ask to get back into the tough grind of the tour when you've had something like that. So that, as Pat mentioned, he's got to try and stay fit if he's going to get back up into the top 10. He's going to be able to play 3, 4, 5 matches a week.
Oh, that is an extraordinary shot from Hanescu.
Started the last set like that. He didn't hit them at the second point. A long reach. How he curled that one. That's incredible. Just rolls his wrist at the end.
15 all.
That time tries to slice underneath it. He'll try to do it. It's almost the opposite.
Well, Hewitt showing a penchant to run around the forehand, and got him into good shape in that point. 30-15.
Well, it was a clever play then. Look, the backhand is not as deadly on Hanescu's side, so Leighton played it there. Tried to take a gamble and open up the forehand side. Go for one to his stronger side, but you have to do that. To try and, it's a bit of like a chess game, isn't it? Maneuver your opponent around.
Hanescu likewise unrelenting and keeps plundering those ground strokes and inviting Hewitt to go for the winner. 30 all. How are you seeing it, Fred?
Well, Hanescu is not a surprise packet because we know he can play, but he's come out, and the big thing for me is his fitness. If Hewitt can hang with him, as we've mentioned earlier, at the start of the season, first competitive tennis, and he's come from a very cold climate where it's been -2 or 3 degrees, come here to the heat in Perth.
40-30.
And he's up against somebody that loves this type of competition in Hewitt.
Well, that was slow motion, so wasn't it, that Hewitt ace? Just all placement, no power.
In game, Australia.
He responds, Hewitt, and is on the board in the second set.
First game, second set.
Great way to start the 22nd Hopman Cup with Australia on the courts. Expectation with Sam Stosur in career best form, getting to world number 13. Had the apple cart upset a bit today, but she can come back, and if Hewitt can win this match, they'll have a mixed doubles, which will be a must win, and given their pedigree, you'd say they'd be favourites for that. Stranger things have happened, certainly in the world of tennis, and that is a majestic sight. The dome and a full house, virtually.
Well, it's Leighton's bread and butter there.
Love 15.
Cross-court backhand, dipping down to the toes. Incredible ability to be able to do that. Certainly at the peak of his career, just tore some players up, didn't he?
Yeah, and that
Tim
one,
Henman in particular used to keep coming in. He just kept passing in there and dipping the ball down.
Well, you don't necessarily have to go for the big pass. You got to get the ball down low, and particularly if you're playing against a tall fellow like Hanescu, and make him bend down there to play that shot off his toes. But Hanescu has been very impressive on serve.
That low forehand that some of the guys and girls tend to struggle a little bit with off the slice. Samantha Stosur, I think, used it quite well today, but probably not enough. Single-handed backhand, and that's what Hewitt did then, slicing it low. See, from that height, modern players have absolutely no problems whatsoever. It's around shoulder height, and that's going to be punished all the time. So you're under a lot of pressure to either get the ball very deep or to hit it very accurately. low or whatever it happens to be. Oh, skidded off the line, did it?
I think so. He's going to challenge, though.
Romania is challenging the call on the right sideline. The ball was good.
He might miss narrowly again here, Hanescu.
Yeah, he's been a bit unlucky with these challenges, but they've been worth it. But this one, I think, goes off the line, and that's why he miscued it.
I don't know if it was that far in.
30-40 Romania. There's 2 challenges remaining.
Yeah.
There's 2 left. And a break point now for Hewitt for a 2-love second set lead.
Deuce.
I can't believe he missed the backhand, Hewitt.
No, well, he got the return back deep. That's what he wanted on the return of serve. He got the return back, but then missed the easy one. This is bread and butter for him.
Sometimes he just gets a little side on. His legs almost get a little tangled up at times.
Advantage, Romania.
I tell you, that was good footwork. Again, we talked about for a big man, 6'6", he gets that serve. But watch how he hustles, gets in there, a little stutter step, gets in position, turns the shoulders. Good movement. Racket ready on the way through.
Game, Romania.
1-1 in the second set, and Hewitt maybe just tangling himself up a little bit here and there, trailing a set in this men's singles match at the 22nd Hopman Cup. 11 years since Australia recorded a victory here, and Hewitt feeling he was a very good chance to change that around with Sam Stosur, but he's got plenty to do today in his opening encounter.
Bolts.
Bit of fight coming out. Wasn't too happy about the call. That was great defensive play from him.
Challenge the call.
Okay.
That looked like it might have come off the line as well, and well, the fire's burning in Hewitt. He needs a little bit of an argument sometimes to get him motivated.
He's frustrated, isn't he?
He just can't get the ball away from the tall man, though, can he? And this one just missed it.
That's surely hit that line. Oh, there it is. We've got the microscope in on that one. 3 mils. Thanks, Hawkeye. Oh, and fortune favours Hewitt. And he needs a moment.
15-all. Australia has 2 challenges.
Just cannoned into the net and fell over. Oh, rally of the match so far, and it comes the way of the tall Romanian with another demonstrative forehand down the line.
Well, the problem here is that you might say, okay, Hanescu, you need to move him around. And yeah, that's correct. But with the big swings that he does and the long arms, if you don't get it far enough away, he gets the full power of his long arm swings and can generate amazing pace. And that's the problem with these tall guys. Himself, Del Potro, Serdeling particularly, just long arms and absolutely thump the ball. Yeah, keep the ball away from them. They're kind of tall. They don't move all that brilliantly, But if you don't get it away from them, you're going to pay the penalty, and that's the risk you're going to take. So then you say, okay, well, should be hitting the ball back to them. That's another good tactic. Hitting the ball at them.
But it also gets to the point that now to be successful in the sport, you have to have a big shot, a winning shot.
Yeah,
like at this, just here, Hewitt's playing well off the ground, but he cannot hit a winner against this tall fellow because the reach that Pat talked about and the power off the shot. Del Potro's the same with that. He was down and out twice during the US Open and comes back basically because he continued to go for his shots.
Taken out of course was Hanescu, and Hewitt had his man on the spot. Takes the game after being under a little bit of pressure and leads 2-1 second sets.
Well, he's hitting that forehand quite nicely. I think it's something he's flattened out a little bit. I think over the last couple of years, I don't think he intentionally is doing it, but I think players, when they try to get more power, naturally less spin on the ball, the flatter the ball, the more pace you're going to get. And I think he's doing that. But the backhand is a little bit of a worry at the moment. Let's have a little look at a couple of these backhands, and something that I think he struggles with, just regulation sort of backhands. Look how cross-legged he is. I know he's pushed out of position there a little bit, but he a lot of the top players these days use the open stance, and Leighton does it very, very well, and that means not putting the leg across, means using that the left leg in Leighton's case, and he tends to get his lower legs just a little tangled up from time to time, particularly in the middle of the rally where he can hit it quite open. The girls particularly are very, very good at this. There it is. And that means he cannot get his hips through, and he's using sort of the muscle or whatever, his upper body to try and get any sort of pace. And the player that you'd love to, the perfect example is Rafa Nadal, the best open stance backhand from that position of all time. I mean, absolutely thumps it. It's
or in the women's, it's the Williams sisters, isn't it? They're unbelievable.
Everything open, isn't it? Yeah. Oh. And one of the benefits of that is that you can get back into the court very quickly as well. Your legs aren't sort of tangled up, and you're not still following through.
Again, Hanescu volleying so easily from that great height. Let's put the racket on that, and it's around mid-chest. Easy stuff.
Andre Agassi, of course, was the man who almost started that trend. Certainly perfected it anyway, open stance.
Yeah, too good from the Romanian.
He's not going to go away.
Well, he's an open stance backhand from Hewitt. I know he's really struggling here. There it is, off the left foot. Now, if he can do that on some of the more regulation ones, that time he was really just desperately throwing his legs out and trying to get his racket on the ball, but I think he can use that a bit more.
Oh!
Clever.
And it was in, and it was legal, and it was dangerous.
It was lethal, yes.
Well, that's a tennis equivalent of the bouncer, isn't it, the body?
Right on the line. 30-15. We've only met once before, back in the 2003 US Open, a long time ago. Hewitt successful then. Magnificent from Hewitt, and the match amping up a little bit in pace and power, and then it takes another audacious drop shot from the tall figure of Hanescu, but Hewitt was equal to it.
Great disguise again from Hanescu on this one, but cat and mouse from Hewitt. Look, he holds it right to the very last minute. Little flick of the wrist, cross court.
swatting the ball with each other. And Hewitt's frustrated again. He couldn't meet the mark.
Got to create his own pace here, Hanescu, off this one, and he does so. 16-stroke rally. That's the toughest shot, when that one's floated back deep and you've got to create your own pace of shot.
Yes, from Hewitt, scintillating down the line. He teed off with that one, and he's just starting to roll into gear, one feels. At 2-1, second set, down the first set, back to Juice.
Great footwork again. Look at that, skips across so quickly. Just gives himself enough room. If you don't get it around that or quick enough, you end up getting all jammed up, can't swing at all, and then the ball just sits in the middle of the court. So it's a risky play, certainly a play that Roger Federer has mastered. Worth a challenge, I would have thought.
Have a challenge.
Or not. No.
Advantage Australia.
And break point for Hewitt. And, should he have gone or not? No.
Well, I think he got the signal from his player's box down that end that it may have been long.
Yep. Oh, it was there for him. And as you mentioned, Pat, before, that shot right at the feet, he'd set it up.
Well, yeah, and he served the first serve volley from Hanescu as a bit of a surprise tactic. And he got the shot that he wanted, Hewitt. And was just dipping there. So it was about net height. He had to just get a little bit more air on that one.
Advantage
With the frame from Hanescu, another break point for Leighton Hewitt. Burble in the crowd, magnifying the intensity of this match at the moment.
Well, again, just half court from Hewitt. And it was the depth of the ground stroke that won the day for Hanescu. There's Hewitt half court again, and now the big backhand catches him. But that was the third stroke in that rally where Hewitt's return never got past the service line.
Advantage Romania.
And a solid serve backing it up from Hanescu, giving him a game point for 2-all. Romania sitting quite comfortably at the moment in this tie, with Sarana Castello winning the first singles.
Game
Back
Romania.
behind Hewitt for the game. And there is the 19-year-old Victor of the first match. And Victor is trying to match it. 2-all, second set.
Wow, that was a tongue twister. You're a poet and you didn't know it.
Makes a rare appearance at the Hoffman Cup.
A lot of work to do here for Australia, and more specifically Leighton Hewitt. He's had a few opportunities against Hanescu, and the Romanians come up with the big serve to get himself out of trouble.
Love.
Today, he's used that at times well, Hewitt, almost in the second serve. He's fooled Hanescu a few times. Just Didn't get it wide enough on the first serve, and Hanescu's got all that pace. Right play, just...
Hewitt was gone too.
Yeah, he was gone there. But he just clipping the top of the net. We find the Europeans are very, very good, or clay court, particularly clay court players, but just about everybody's a decent on clay now. Very good at the drop shot.
40 love.
Drop shots come back into the game a bit more the last couple of years, hasn't it? There was a time there when, particularly with Federer just didn't want to play a drop shot. Now he plays a lot of them.
Andy Murray was addicted to it.
Yep.
Oh, that's very authoritative Hewitt there, right at the nets, playing the angles. And the game duration, 1 minute and 11 seconds, and importantly for Australia, it takes Hewitt to a 3-2 lead in the second set, but we've still got to get past the heavy serve of his opponents, and he's down a set. Still looking a fairly lean, mean machine at 28 years of age. Leighton Hewitt's with some tasty winners.
That was a good shot, that one, quickly getting up. And see, it's been quite a good shot, his forehand. This one particularly is almost something that he seems to have added over summer. And hits the ball in the winner. Goes for the win, hits the ball pretty flat. There you go. Wow, that was a bit of luck, that one, but it looked like it was going to go in anyway. And get another one. That was had a bit of topspin. We're starting to dip a little bit below the level of the net. And trademark Hewitt pace. And again, that forehand running around. Trying to develop a big power shot, you think, Fred?
Yes, well, I think he's added a little pace of shot to his ground strokes over the last 12 months. I think that helped him get from where he was at 108 down to number 22 in the world. But he's got to continue to do that against these big fellas, because we say here, evidence here today, when Hanescu gets a shot like that, it just doesn't come back.
15 love.
Hanescu serving above his percentage that he accrued in the entirety of 2009. I mentioned before 69%. He's up at 74% today.
That's tough to deal with, 74%.
Leighton needs, ideally, for Leighton to be really effective on the serve, he needs to be in the 60s. Otherwise, it doesn't come from the same height as this guy does.
We missed that, and that was another short shot from Hewitt there that allowed Hanescu to try and be aggressive.
Hewitt provides himself with a window of opportunity with a well-placed backhand. Beautiful balance on this shot.
Look, his position was inside the baseline, on or around inside the baseline here, hitting that one. Not getting pushed back. Again, the second serve, you've got to do something with it. You don't get to see it all the time.
First service.
Certainly back 20 years ago or so, it would have been the chip charge, attacking shot. Not so much anymore.
Don't see that at all anymore.
Not at all, yeah.
It's not a shot in the book like that anymore, is it?
A couple of players do it, that's about it. I think that's going to make it come back.
I believe too.
It's going to have to.
Yes, he's got him. 2 second serves consecutively from Hanescu, breaking his rhythm a little bit. He's
15.
back down to 71%, and Hewitt pouncing.
This is vintage Hewitt here from 2 metres behind the baseline. He plays that dipping shot that we talked about earlier. And even if Hanescu gets that back, Hewitt will back himself on the next shot.
Smooths in a first serve
30-40.
to reduce the opportunities to just a one break point now for Hewitt. He'd love this here. Needs a bit of breathing space in this match.
Now, let's see if he can do something with this chance. Second serve.
Hewitt. Well, he almost butchered one of the opportunities, but in the end played a beautiful shot to finish the points and achieve the break 4-2 second set. Should have put this away.
Well, yes, I mean, he thought his opponent was going the wrong way, but stayed calm under pressure. Hanescu did very well to sort of slice that one down to Leighton's feet. Good footwork from Leighton. Didn't panic. Good, very good rally.
That's his patented shot. He loves that when he's got time. There it is. And he had time there. Hanescu didn't do enough with the volley. Hewitt only misses this when he's rushed. He's not rushed here. Look at this. He looks at his man at the net over the top. And that's 6'6" over the top. That's a tough one. Great lob.
Hanescu musing as we see the Hewitt footwork at his very best. Well, he's on song at the moment.
First serve and volley of the match for Hewitt.
40 love.
We haven't seen this, and a good volley again. Closes in, moves forward.
Game Australia.
Hewitt's best service game so far, coming off the back of a break. And he's out to a 5-2 lead. The changeability of the game.
5 games to 2.
And the crowd responding. You can feel the atmosphere just building now. It's going with Hewitt. And
well, the further this match goes, the better it looks for Leighton Hewitt. And just before he went on, a little clip we had from Hanescu said, well, this is the first competitive tennis of the year. I don't know how my fitness is. And we know it's very warm under the dome. And this way of looking at the spectators, trying to keep themselves cool as well. And we know Hewitt loves a fight. And he's been playing in very warm conditions, practicing, working out. He's in a position now to try and get this to a set all.
some of these statistics of play, the aces well and truly in the Australians' favour, considering the Romanian service percentage. And now the battle about to resume with Hewitt, 5-2 leader in the second set. And the crowd buzzing in acknowledgement. I know that with the first match gone in favour of Sorana Castella, the 19-year-old Romanian, 3-6, 6-4, 6-3. She beat Sam Stoser. Just refused to go down. She was plundering winners in the back end of the second set and then the back end of the third set. Oh yes, Hewitt, he'll be hoping to harness some of the electricity from the crowd as well. And a perfect start to this game in the second set.
15 all.
Oh, terrific stuff from Hewitt with the return and then the off forehand, running around it again. And he now has 2 set points.
Starting to dictate the play now, Hewitt, when he gets the ball back. Playing on his terms. Couple of short balls from Hanescu, and Hewitt taking advantage of that situation.
Oh.
30-40.
One saved. Placement from Hanescu, 28-year-old from Bucharest. Set point still up the sleeve for Hewitt.
Oh, clever.
Typical play court point, that one from Hanescu. Beautifully executed.
And also just skipping into the net too, just in case Hewitt was able to somehow scramble it back and pop it up.
2 set points saved.
Advantage Romania.
But Hewitt can still take half from some of the returning in this game. With a powerful serve of the Romanian, who now has a game point to stay in the set.
Yep.
Game
And he's done it strongly, has Victor Hanescu. And Hewitt now to serve for the set to take it to a third. 5-3 he leads after going down in the first.
Very good save, isn't it? 4 points in a row. Under pressure, big pressure, very calm, clinical. And a drop shot, it's a tough one to do when you're a little bit nervous.
As is Nathan Healy.
Nathan looks as though he's more uptight than anybody.
Is he eating something, or is it just his nails?
Just missed.
Got away with it there, Hewitt.
15 love.
This is sort of the hit the forehand approach shot and stopped. So, oh, I don't really want to come in, or now I will. And wouldn't have had a chance if Hanescu had hit an anywhere reasonable, decent passing shot. He's in the worst position there, Hewitt, but got away with it. Now that's a better position where Hewitt's standing there, committed to that one.
Now Hewitt, you can see how his nervous energy's buttoned on. 30 love, a couple of points to take the set.
Gutsy second serve.
That's been more successful than the first serve, isn't it?
It has been, yeah.
Oh, what about the tennis in that rally? The crowd getting ready to applaud a set win, and instead they got some delights from both ends of the court.
Another great Drop shot here. Hewitt gets to it, but the long arm of the law is right there. He's just a tall fellow with a great reach.
Oh, again, a narrow margin. Yes, he says. Thunderous applause from all quadrants of the Burswood Dome. And Hewitt takes the match into a third set. Winning that set in 36 minutes. 6-3, mirroring the score of the first set. Plenty of tenacity. Typical Hewitt. Characteristic play.
Yeah, well, he sort of took command of that point, though. Hanescu, as he did in the first set, started off brilliantly with a forehand, and that was the sort of shot of the set. That second serve has been very, very successful. That one showing a bit of Leighton Hewitt aggression, and he tried to sort of push his opponent back. And that has also been a shot that has been well tried out in this match, I think, more than anything. Big forehand running around down the line, and overall a much more aggressive set from Leighton, and still with a bit of trademark patience, and that's his bread and butter. Boy, does he hit that one well. That time much better in this set with that wide backhand. Missed quite a lot of backhands in the first set, and the ground strokes starting to come because Hanescu put the pressure all the way on and made Leighton play the good tennis to serve it out.
Great atmosphere in Perth at this time of year. Blue sunny skies. Of course, there has been north and northwest some serious trouble with the bushfires, and of course the hearts and the minds go out to all those people who've suffered loss of property up there. But a lot of people have travelled to Perth specifically for this engagement, as Hewitt takes a comfort stop at the end of the second set, and he'll be back in a minute or so. It's a pilgrimage to Perth for some, and in the region of Western Australia, people just come and enjoy the action.
Let's have a little look at the interesting part of the game, of what these players have to face. We all talk about the big first serves and how important it is, and it's so important. Seeing somebody like the height of Hewitt is 5'11" or so, and then the big man Hanescu, 6'6", and this is where the players are hitting the ball from. It's not so much where they're hitting the ball from, it's the reaction once it hits the ground. That's the look how much higher that is. So Hewitt is consistently hitting the ball around shoulder height on the first serve, and that's one without spin. So Hanescu's second serve can jump up even higher than that.
Yeah, and he's always been, Hewitt, in response to with the weapons of opponents, such a fluent mover around the court. The footwork just extraordinary. It's held him in good stead when he's staying fit. He can just stay in points. You mentioned the lack of the big weapon, but that is his weapon, isn't it? He's all court movement. He's like the new Rayev of the Australian tennis scene over years.
Well, he looks like a bit of a ballet dancer out there now with those shoes on. They've got the red tops on them and the shoelaces and all that, and his footwork is exceptional. And as we said earlier, when he was at the top 2001, 2002, when he was the world #1, he was as quick around the court as anybody. I think he's probably lost half a step, but that still keeps him in the top 10 in my mind around the world at the moment. And as you go through to this set, you know that he knows, or he feels that he has this under control. He likes a fight, and he's in a dog fight. He's come back and he's won the second set, and I expect him to go through and put Australia to one match apiece at the end of this one.
Well, I've lost a player out here, I think. To Hanescu, I think, skipped off to the loo.
Couldn't they have synchronised that? Did they both go at the same time, or not?
Could do, I suppose.
Anyway, they're back. And Hanescu, he's acquitted himself very well here today. And you're right, the conditions, well, if a scan around the dome, you'll see that the number of fans waving light breezes on faces, and there the diamond-encrusted balls, such a treasured item for the winners.
Final set.
Best trophy in tennis, I think. Those they're everybody, particularly the women competitors that come out here, they just want to add one of those to their trophy cabinet.
Well, now after some minutes, we're back ready to proceed with the third set action.
Crowd certainly got their money worth today, haven't they?
Tremendous. Good standard too in both matches. Both have started a little lethargically, as you might expect for the first of the year, but they've hit some peaks, no doubt.
Love 15.
Nowhere to go.
15 all.
And a well-constructed point from Hanescu. Is he with just his girlfriend, Andrea, not his coach. Tomae Firasel.
30-15.
They're the big points that Hewitt annoyed at himself there. 15 all. He knows he's got things on a roll at the moment. Got the momentum going. He's got to try and break early. He'd like to get an early service break here if possible. Hanescu has taken a little bit off that serve. That last one only at 177k, and he gets it into the corner. And still, it's a very heavy serve, that one, and Hewitt can't control the reply.
Game, Romania, first game. Final
Just tripping a little bit here. It's on that point. And a game for Hanescu to open the third set. Just sort of fell off balance a little bit, got tangled up again, and he was trying to reproduce an earlier forehand.
Match been going for an hour and 24 minutes. It's been pretty good stuff. Excellent serving from Hanescu in the opening set. Started off very, very well, and Hewitt just had to bide his time and wait for a couple of second serve chances, and he didn't get them in the first set, and did so in set number 2.
Another benefit of long matches here is the build-up towards the Australian Open as well. Guaranteed 3 matches, and if they're long ones, that's a great preparation.
Well, most definitely. The Australian Open has the only tennis events that are best of 5 sets, the 4 Grand Slams.
Good control from Hewitt on this point.
Smart play here. A good slice there, but Hanescu looking for the cross-court volley. Hewitt just holds it back, lays the wrist back, pushes it back behind the tall man.
Oh, Hewitt forced to up the ante in that point and gives a draining look in the direction of his opponent as if to say, well, I got you there.
Yes, well, this was just precision from the back of the court, and Hewitt finally worked his way into the net. gets Hanescu out of court, and there's the come on with a good safe volley into the open court.
Oh, point of the match from Hewitt. That is superior. He has come up with a Houdini performance.
Unbelievable point, this one. And Hanescu makes a great volley. How Hewitt got back and got this ball into play, I'll never know. It lands right on the line, and now he gets in the aggressive position, comes in and makes a very good volley cross court for the winner.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's on his fair share of matches and money from those scrambling sort of points, hasn't he?
Yep.
He's just about the king of that.
Just missed. And Hewitt comfortably takes the game to highlight the previous points. And it's 1-1, the third set. And the opening tie of this 22nd Hopman Cup. And Romanian fans, they're
Doing a good job.
pocket here. They love the tennis. They had plenty to cheer about it about 2 hours ago. Serrano Castillo winning. And Victor Hanescu not letting them down too. He is well in this match. Oh yes, Hewitt. He's just getting more balls back, more balls in play.
Well, again, that's one of those tricky shots there where Hanescu's pulled out all the. Both players have had this point pulled out of court with that short one. And they have to really virtually hit a winner because they're so far out of court that anything on the other side is going to win the point. And we've seen in the last match Sam Stosur missing a couple of those, and probably one each as well. Error from both players in this match.
Cat and mouse from both players, and delectable touch again from Hanescu. It's a shame that to be a weapon. Quite a surprise.
Yeah, Hewitt had the opportunity though early in that rally to make a move forward on the backhand, and he elected to take 2 steps forward and then 3 or 4 back, and finally got himself into trouble.
Yeah, he doesn't like to rush in, does he? Hewitt only off the best possible shot.
A 1-2 punch from Hanescu.
One of the things about actually coming in off sometimes some surprise rubbish at times is that it does give the opponent a different sort of height, a different thing to look at, a different passing shot, take his eye off the ball, and then of course makes them think, oh, when's he going to sneak in next time?
Well done.
30.
He's done it so many times. Hanescu, I think he's saying to himself, come on, you know where that's going. Get in quicker. Just drops it down to the feet.
30 all. Huge moment for Hanescu in context of the match. Love one of those big serves. Still at 74%. Oh, he thought about it, Hewitt, and Hanescu psyched at the opportunity and blazed one down the line.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad approach shot at all either. That was the one, the short, wide one. Not a bad approach shot from Hewitt. Hit it just about in the corner. Could have gone a couple of feet deeper, but it just gave Hanescu enough angle.
Was that a Romanian come on?
Don't know. Don't speak Romanian.
I think you're right, Fred.
Yeah.
Game, Romania.
Well, he's dug himself out there, Hanescu.
Romania need 2
In
games
the
to 1.
Romanian corner is still pretty confident of springing the upsets. That's in the previous game. It was Leighton Hewitt with some mesmerising retrievals. He was dead and buried a couple of times in his point of the match.
Oh, a fantastic scramble. I mean, he really just sort of flicked his racket up in the air, hoped for the best. And once his opponent had to go back, he was in the perfect position. Just, as I said, he's won so many points throughout his career doing that. And that is a very, very tough shot. Didn't have a lot of pace on it, so he had to create a bit of pace with that volley. And Hanescu, though, that backhand volley does look a little stiff. It's been reasonably effective.
Time.
And cleverly coming in. And there he had to really punch through that. See the snap of the wrist from that position. And it'd be easy enough to just float that, and Hanescu could have got across the other side. So Leighton had to take the risk. And when it comes to volleying, I think certainly a lot of kids who are learning how to volley aggressively don't understand that you actually, when you have to hit the volley, you have to hit it very close to the net. It has to be very low, skimming over the top of the net, an inch, 5 centimetres, 3 or 5 centimetres over the net to get an aggressive punch out of the shot. There's no use floating it. These guys are too good these days. Girls, guys, courts are too slow, so you have to be aiming at sort of 3, 5 or so centimetres over the net to get a good volley these days.
Points from the Hewitt, well constructed.
Before the emails come in about Fred and I using feet and inches, Fred lives in the States and I live in England, so please apologies. Centimetres, I'm not too bad at weight and kilos, but centimetres, it takes me a while to adjust.
And if you'd like to email a question, I'll tell you about that in a moment.
Complain about the commentating?
15 all.
That's all right. I'll just pass them on to Fred.
I think most tennis fans still listen to, whether they listen to all sorts of commentary, it's basically done in inches.
Hopman Cup at abc.net.au.
30-15.
That's long. If you'd have a question for Fred, Pat, any one of our esteemed commentators this week, Hopman Cup at abc.net.au.
Not our young fans, Fred. The young tennis fans will be thinking.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. But
it's a bit like golf too, isn't it? You talk about in the States how many feet the putts are. Oh, sweet as you like. Again from Hanescu.
Look where he was when he hit that, though. He anticipated that kick second serve. He was 2 metres inside the baseline here.
How many yards is that? Sorry, Fred. How many feet is it?
2 metres. Huh?
2 metres? That's good.
Yeah,
not 2 yards.
2 metres.
How many feet is that?
Fred's back with us. Oh, Framer.
Well, he picked the side.
30-40.
Danger time here. Break point Romania.
And look, most players, just for any kids growing up, anybody learning tactics about tennis, if the short ball in the forehand, players will go across court, I say 80% of the time. If it's a reasonably low, and Hanescu guessed it right.
Oh, no, a massive moment for Hewitt. Second serve, 30-40. Hewitt, it produces again in the clutch. Oh, that was dangerous, Fred, as you mentioned. Back to deuce.
Vintage Hewitt, that point though. This one here, he gives it enough air to get it over the net and then just climbs on top. Great footwork to follow up, anticipate that Hanescu was going to make the volley, and he was all over the next shot.
First service.
Oh,
Advantage.
Romanian again, very, very solid.
He almost got sucked in by that wide second serve again, but he just held his position there, Hanescu, and he was slightly.
I think Hewitt comes up with a bit of a problem here after he misses this one. You'll see him wince and goes down and grabs the foot there. Maybe he's had problems with the toe injury, I believe.
And there's another second serve. Break point. A finely tuned performance from Hewitt again when he needed to. The crowd collectively held their breath.
The secret here is how quickly he got to this volley. You saw the slice, he moved forward quickly so it didn't dip right down to the ground. And he had to be able to hit it with enough pace, as I was talking about, low enough to the net behind the opponent.
Secret was there, exactly as you said, to get in there right on top of the ball. Go to the ball, don't let the ball play you.
Hewitt is absolutely sure of the meaning of this particular sector of the match. Australia is the favourites. Their chances could ride on this little 5 or 10 minute period or this game.
Next 10 or 15 minutes, exactly.
That's a great backhand. Yeah. Hewitt goes to grab his foot again, I think.
His groin, the foot groin.
That's a fantastic backhand. And being a tall man there, Hanescu's some of those serves that Hewitt was trying to get up around above his shoulder, where it'd be weaker for him, for Hanescu, just not quite getting up and just right into the zone. Again, same thing. We talked about this. Tall guys, okay, move them around. That's the idea. But if you don't move them around, they've got a full swing with all that big long reach right at its stretch. Boy, some power comes through there, and we've seen in the last 2 returns.
Another breakpoint chance for Romania. Out. And a big serve at the right moment for Leighton Hewitt. Can play under pressure. Back to a 4th deuce. Doesn't faze him in the slightest. Well, he's had a pretty solid game here on Hanescu, hasn't he?
Well,
producing.
Great tactic there as he got the second serve. And, hey, he's the man that's in front here and under pressure. He's got Hewitt there on the second serve. big reach. Why not go into the net? Then your opponent has to make the shot.
Seven minutes and 45 seconds. And really in the clutch for Hewitt. Second serve for Hanescu. Take a 3-1 lead in the deciding set. Out long, he thinks about a challenge, looks at his box. I think you'll find it is long. And Hewitt with a perfectly placed second service.
Yep,
giving
good
him
second
the authority
serve.
in that point.
Yeah, good second serve because it jammed Hanescu. He was looking for a forehand to have a crack at this. This one's worth the challenge. It is long. Oh. Good call.
No doubt about it.
2 challenges remaining.
7 millimetres on that occasion. Back to Juice again.
Well, the fighting qualities, Roy, they've been there for many, many years with Hewitt. #1 in the world in 2000, 2001, around that time. And he still has that great fire in the belly and the desire, particularly when he's playing for his country.
And he has achieved the game when at a moment or two under pressure, it seemed like it was going to evaporate for him, the opportunity. Over 9 minutes, that one, to level it up at 2-all. The prize at the end of it, it doesn't seem that significant, just a 2-all, but in the loss of that game, it would have been a serious mountain to climb.
Well, I think you want to mark that one down. We'll go and just, that could be the turning point of this set. He saved 4 break point opportunities. And you know that'll play on Hanescu's mind, and Hewitt right on the job here. Let's see.
Just a bit of limping there, Hewitt, at the moment.
Cramp? Or?
Definitely, no, I think it's whatever he did. The other point where he jammed that toe or rolled his ankle a little bit.
Yes, Hewitt's wonderfully forward once more. And again, he had plenty to answer. The Romanian posing some wonderful questions here.
Well, he's seen it do it on the backhand a few times. Hewitt just roll up, passing shot down to the feet across court. This time on the forehand side.
Love 30.
Same result.
No! Fortune really favouring Hanescu, even though he had the lunge to pick it up. Hewitt's ruefully looking at the spot.
Yeah, he's having a bit of a laugh there, a bit of a smile, Hewitt, there, because this would have been love 40 had that gone over cleanly. Yeah, well done.
Yeah,
well
done. Coming in once, defensive lob, got Hewitt back in the point, and then deciding to barge in again. Not too. Going to let a few good passing shots from Hewitt worrying him. And again, that backhand volley didn't look very, a bit stiff, but it was effective. A lot of side spin.
Well, it's probably going to be a good year for Hanescu based on this form. he regarded last year and his good performance as due to experience. Oh, he got him to run a few laps extra with Hewitt. But it is unusual for a player to have his best year on the tour at 27 years of age. But that was Hanescu.
A lot of hard work here from Hanescu. He's covered the hard yards, and Hewitt just grinding away, working, as he's done for years.
Trying to get some air in your lungs there.
Break point, Hewitt.
Oh yes, from Hewitt. The ambition didn't match the ability there for Hanescu. It was optimistic. Hewitt has come up with it at the break at an important time after saving the 4 break points in the previous game. He has delivered once again.
Well, that last game could be the turning point, and he's stuck in there with this one, and just brilliant. Look at that reaction.
Yes, Hanescu went to the well once more, didn't he, with the drop shot, but it just sat up there. It wasn't
It was a good first serve, though.
Executed one.
He got a big first serve in on the break point. It was a good return, and depth of the returner serve was the one that got him into the point.
Well, looks like he's suffering from something. A little bit of an ankle, sore toe, or something. But
a few body parts to pick from.
There he goes. Yeah, he's done so many miles, kilometres, I should say, over the years. Look at the strain that is going onto his.
Yeah, that was groin.
That's the one.
Was that foot or groin?
That's his toe. That's his foot there. Jammed it into the end of the shoe, probably.
Look.
There he goes. Oh, when you got a sore toe, those feet take a pounding, absolute pounding. But didn't seem too painful when he's chasing that last drop shot down. That's for sure. He got there in plenty of time. So it'll be something that he'll get onto as soon as he finishes this match and gets into the dressing room. Bag of ice, would be my guess.
Well, you just got to keep patching yourself up, don't you, Pat? Over the years, as they progress.
You're always playing with some form of injury.
Cassie's patching himself up. He's played with the knees, and he's still out there. Yeah,
still patching himself up.
Well, Hewitt has achieved the break, and he consolidate now. No one's moved. It's great stuff.
Oh, he
missed it.
Got away with that, Hewitt. Sort of going for the angle volley. And just got a little close to it.
And you have to hand it to the crowd as well. It's not the back court in some remote village somewhere, the second round. You get a big 7,000-8,000 strong crowd all pouring in the emotion. The players do respond, don't they?
Oh, it's fantastic. I mean, I think that's certainly what they enjoy. Particularly Hanescu, he wouldn't be getting crowds like this every day.
Too good. Acknowledged it.
Yeah, that's one of the beauties of the Hopman Cup, isn't it? If Hewitt can get out of this and we get into a mixed doubles, you never, ever see 8,000 people watching the final of the mixed doubles in any Grand Slam. Here at the Hopman Cup, they love it, and it's decisive.
And today, you have to favour the Australians. Should it still be alive?
It's good tactic, that one. It would have been easy for him to sort of punch this one down the line. It was low. But the deciding to flip it up, and I think Hewitt thought, and most of us, that he was going to go for the passing shot. After all that hard work of Hewitt's,
Yep.
the last game.
Couple of break points. Mum and Dad emotionless. Long from Hewitt, and that is the break back straight away, and the crowd somewhat stunned.
Yes, it quietened them down in a hurry.
There's a feeling that Hewitt would just consolidate and go to the 4-2 advantage and go on to win the match, but Hanescu, to his credit, has not once relented in this match.
Hasn't showed a lot of emotion. He just gets on with the job, and you wouldn't know whether he was down a break or up a break. It's just been a good, solid performance from him.
3-all. It's a casual error, but Hewitt still whirring away.
Got to get that ball a little deeper, though. Hewitt, throughout that rally, it was pretty short. He got away with it at the finish with a deep forehand, forcing Hanescu to try and play that little slice.
Well, Hanescu playing a lot of good tennis at the moment to match what's happening at the other end of the court, and Hewitt again just pivoting, just trying to release whatever problem is afflicting him there. And just rehearsing. Set all, 15 all. 3-all.
Well, that's a good serve. Good serve from the tall man. Hewitt, 2 or 3 metres behind the baseline, was really stretched wide and couldn't control the return.
It's a little bit of a blessing. He virtually conceded that, even though he was on the way in. 30-all. Is he going to provide him with an opening with perhaps a second serve? Just all calm at the moment, though. No opening there. Thunderous right down the line, 191 kilometres an hour.
He's just trying to get a lot of these back and see where he's standing. Standing position, returning position is fairway back of the court now.
2 big serves to finish off the game, and Hanescu sneaks ahead, although there is a challenge from Hewitt. I think this might have just caught the line. We'll see who they're going to favour. Yeah, plenty of it too. So it stands
Romania lead 4 games to 3.
4 games to 3, deciding set. And the silence backs up the crowd is feeling that, hang on, the favourites are in a bit of trouble.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they're shocked because how good Hanescu's playing. More than anything, they don't know probably an awful lot about him. And I dare to say that a couple of the commentators here would say the same thing. But you can just see the big shots that he's got. The variety. There's a great slice backhand which has been effective. Lots of side spin, and then when he wants to take the ball early, that backhand down the line, one of the most underrated shots in the game of tennis. No doubts about it. Again, more defensive, but yet in a way attacking, because you try to get the short ball. And this is what's been very effective today, and this is what's really putting Hewitt off the game, is that when he thumps the big ball in, he sneaks into the net and has been very, very solid around the net. And the long arms, and that little bit of whip through with the wrist as well. And look, short, takes the ball away from his body. Very simple sort of backswing. Nothing too complex, too complicated. And we can see how consistent he has been.
Well, he had a marathon first round win at the Australian Open last year against Jan Hernick. 5 sets. So he can go the distance. And there's plenty of shots in the armoury.
Well, anything short, he's been very consistent with all day, hasn't he? He hasn't made many errors when Hewitt gets that ball short, as he did in that point there. It's been dealt with pretty severely. And that's one of the tougher shots for the tall men, because they've got to bend the knees. They've got to get down to that shot to make the winner. Oh.
There you go, the backhand down the line. I mean, to be honest, that really deserved that, didn't it? It was not a great second serve.
Oh, now.
Look at that, just right on target.
The hole is deep again. Love 30.
Oh, there is
15, 30.
That's a great second serve.
Well, we went from the last point, not a very good second serve, to that one, which come right out of the hat.
That was a ripper.
Rabbit out of the hat, that one.
And that's a good one as well.
And Hewitt again claws back into the game.
A lot more successful with that slice serve today than anything else.
Three points in a row. You wouldn't normally expect this amount of tension in the opening tie, but Australia losing the first singles, and then a fight for Leighton Hewitt. 2 hours on the court. No one's moved. Except to get a drink or go and have that comfort break.
There's another one.
Well, that was a better second serve. There wasn't an awful lot wrong with that. Unfortunately, a quick shuffle left there for Hanescu, and it was in, again, those long arms, full swing, and the confidence to just go for those shots is got to give him credit today. And players in this era, full stop, just the confidence to go for the shots.
We did pose the question to the chair, I think, long, and he's going to challenge the marginal again, but it's out. Way out. Optimism abounding. A loose shot from Hanescu. He can't believe it.
Well, that's the risk you take when you decide to go for broke, as Hanescu's decided here. We've seen two unbelievable backhands that have made it. That big forehand, he whacks this one. But then this is a simple one, but he wants to go for it. He lifts up a little bit off it. Took it long, but that's the risk you take if you decide to go for broke and try and hit winners.
Quizzically at both ends at Hanescu's challenging. It was called a clean ace. He hasn't had too much fortune.
I think it might have zipped off the line too. It was out.
Second serve.
Will he go for the big return on the second serve? Oh, Hewitt's get it down the middle.
No, Hewitt couldn't thread the needle down the line. And we're back to juice again.
Another good point from the Romanian though.
Yeah, he takes it early, doesn't he?
Yep.
Stands up along the baseline and now he's expecting short balls from Hewitt, and he just gets on top of them very, very quickly. His reactions are good. He hits it aggressively and is ready, if need be, to sneak into the net. He sees Hewitt in defensive position.
Hewitt comes up with the first serve when needed to again have gain points. A double at an inopportune time for Leighton Hewitt. Only his second of the match. Takes it to juice again. So even a man as experienced under pressure as Hewitt can still have the odd lapse. What can he follow it up with? Oh, screaming shot from Hanescu.
Hanescu's sitting on that serve. Hewitt's gone out there the last 3 points on the juice court, and Hanescu just sitting on this one and just one step and into it. It just leans to his right, pulls the trigger.
Rifles one when required again. Does Hewitt.
Well, it could be another one of those marathon games here that Hewitt can whoever sneaks out of it. And,
really has to, doesn't
go
he?
on, yeah.
Well, the serves responded. He's had a great percentage throughout the match. It's in the mid-50s, but he has produced a couple at the appropriate moments. And then another loose one. Hewitt covering the moments, takes the game under extreme difficulty, and he had some ground to make up to because Hanescu once again went to the well of that drop shot.
Unfortunately, he just let the opponent know a bit too early that was coming. So Hewitt was already changed direction, and the thing about Hewitt is not so much his speed from A to B, which is of course very quick. It's again from B to A. His stopping speed and changing direction is absolutely phenomenal. And as soon as he saw that Hanescu was going for the drop shot, off he goes and made it easy. Again, the secret was not to let the ball drop too low, or he of course had to hit the ball up without too much pace. Hit the ball up with a lot of pace, Where's it going to go? Into the right up here with us.
That's a good second serve again from Hanescu. Boy, he's been solid today. Only served 2 double faults, and he only served the 1 ace though. Oh, he missed it. Missed it.
15 all.
Boy, that's a bad miss. That could come back to haunt him. An easy one. The big first serve gets the high volley, and he just overplays it. Gets it a little bit behind him.
It's not a very fluid backhand volley, is it, that one? You've got to give him credit where most players will chicken out and they'll become the net for the next 2 years.
He comes up and serves and volleys the next point.
Yep. He's willing to learn and improve. That's why his ranking has moved back up and stayed up for the last couple of years. So very decent. Oh, gee.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was a foot fault too. I saw that. I don't know why I was watching his feet then, but yep.
The back foot comes through. The back foot comes through. It's not the front foot. It's the back foot comes through onto the line.
Good call. Well, now it's all Romanian in the clutch at 15:30. Oh, what a volley under the pump from Hanescu, and Hewitt goes down. He's back up.
Yeah, that is from sort of a poor stiff volley. He cuts inside out and gets a vast amount of side spin. No wonder his toes are hurting.
Yeah. I think Hanescu has asked for the trainer. I think that's why he went to the chair. We'll see shortly at 4 all. The changeover. It's only his second ace of the match. It's out wide, right on the paint.
Yes, which sort of contradicts, belies the quality of his serving, really, doesn't it? Just penetratingly good off the first serve, and produces another dynamic ace to close out the game and go to a 5-4 lead now. Sneaks ahead in the deciding set, and Hewitt's going to come up with another. Have to come up with another game, but he's going to have to wait too. Now, whether this is in his favour or not, he's got a little bit of a, looks like a groin, some sort of a muscle strain in there.
Well, the looks of it, it's, well, this has been a pretty testing match under hot conditions. And of course, he's got to be assessed. The injury's got to be assessed, and then they'll see if he needs a timeout. Continue.
Just a question from Gwen, who'd like to know about the number of points Hewitt consistently seems to lose by playing the ball back to the centre of the court, right to his opponent, whilst waiting for an opportunity to put the point away. Gwen says she gets frustrated. That's as much to do with the opponent, is it, Pat? Or just getting in the point?
She's not the Lone Ranger there, I think. You can talk to all the commentators for years, Davis Cup captains, everything else have been saying the same thing. Well spotted, Gwen. We are very frustrated because we know how good Leighton Hewitt, how much more attacking he can be, and how good he is at it. And yeah, we're frustrated. He does hit the ball down the middle of the court. He's probably a little bit conservative today. He just wants to play a good game of tennis, but he's sort of coming undone, and that's what he's been happening the last few years when the players with big shots give them some, start thumping those short balls.
Yeah, well, that's been he gets when he gets in front, that happens, doesn't it? He sort of goes into the shell a little bit when he gets in front and plays more tentatively and more conservatively, not tentatively, more conservatively than he would on other occasions where he wants to attack and win points.
I think the other thing, sorry, just very quickly, is that he actually, where he's had his great success, certainly earlier in his career, is players attacking him. He loved that because he's so good at the passing shot, so good at the lob, which we've seen. So that's actually now, as the game has changed, he's found that he hasn't been able to adapt quite as well to that and has struggled. And hopefully he's trying to assess that over the last couple of years. But he loved players attacking him. He just passed them all day. He's so quick, got everything back, and it's where he's won his titles from.
But that gets back to what we alluded to earlier. It's the 20% more pace from the other end of the court and the half a step that he's lost over the last 10 years.
Oh. Great tactic from the Romanian, putting pressure on Hewitt, but he responds yet again to the challenge. For the first point, you don't necessarily want to see your tall opponent swooping into the net, but he nearly got him, and he had him, in fact. The first serve.
First serve was in.
No, he didn't challenge that one.
Back behind him successfully. Well, it's a strange game in many senses. He seems to be surviving at moments and other moments dominating, but is now very much in survival mode.
Well, that's the thing about the way that Leighton plays. Is, he has to do the hard yards. That's just his style of play. A lot of thousands and thousands of Ks that he's run around the tennis court.
Cramp with Hanescu there. Appears he had the trainer out in the last changeover. So. Oh, big ace. Big ace and a good move by the line judge.
Very good. Almost caused him some serious discomfort there. I'll be calling for the protector, wouldn't you?
Oh, yay.
Got a special reel. End of week highlights.
5-all. Deciding sets. And a marathon men's singles match to open proceedings in the men's department at Hopman Cup 22. So is this injury going to inconvenience Hanescu at the wrong end of this match?
Well, I'd say that if he can pull this out, he needs to pull this out. I don't know how he's going to be in the mix. Serve volleying, doesn't want to go into the long points.
Smart play. Good tactics.
It's really a good serve like that. He hasn't hit that many aces, but the 74% over the match coming down from that height. There we go. It's a bit Glenn McGrath-like, always on the spot. Doesn't have to be an absolute rocket every time. Just hits the spot.
He goes for the 7%er.
Well, a little bit of frustration there because he went for that big second serve. He hasn't done that either, so there's got to be a little bit of discomfort with the cramp on the right, or he just had the trainer out to massage the left leg. See if he goes for another rocket second serve here.
Yep, he does.
No.
Well, you can challenge Leighton. No, he's just yelling at himself. I thought he was yelling at the line call. And Leighton knows his opponent's in trouble, and that's a more frustrating thing.
Yep.
So keep your head down. Keep your head still, not so much down.
Well, that's the last 3 points. He's at 5 first serves. Because he hasn't gone for a second serve. If he's missed the first serve, he's gone for another first serve. So here we go here. And Hewitt knows that. He's got to get the ball back into play.
Well, Hewitt's so far back there returning that. So that's a good play. As you see Hanescu trying. He's going to try everything in this game to try and break. A lot of ground to cover from Hewitt from where he returns.
The trainer's out there again for Hanescu.
Now here's a question, which I'm a bit unclear about, is if you have cramp, are you allowed to get a massage?
Yeah.
What it's supposed to be if you're injured.
Well, yeah, exactly. But now that is...
cramp is loss of condition.
It is loss of condition. I agree with that, but until they change the rule, the players take advantage of it.
So if he said, my leg's sore, I think I've heard something, even though it's cramping,
yeah, he can get
a massage on it. So, so this could be the interesting conversation that he's having there with the officials. Anyway, Leighton's going to need to come up with some good serves to stay in this match. Let's have a look at some of them today. 11 in all.
It's quite remarkable. Hewitt's got 11 aces, and Hanescu, who's got far the bigger serve, has only got 4.
Yeah, Hanescu's hit the target, but Hewitt's quick enough to at least get his racket on the ball.
Well, back on the court now, and Hewitt serving to stay in the match, and for Australia to stay in the tie. The favourites on the precipice. Oh, he's missed it.
Well, he doesn't want to run at all, does he? And he hit that return and didn't really move. He stayed out there, realised it's coming.
Trying to play a backspinner here. Look at the spin. That thing took off from the side of the court.
He wants the points over with pretty quickly, win or lose.
Oh yes, Hewitt!
That's great anticipation from Hewitt, because he has gone down the line on that backhand on some occasions here, and he's got the open court. Hewitt anticipates it. It is right there.
30 love, trying to send it into a tie break. That'll be interesting. Given the restriction of movement, it appears, at one end. Oh, it's given him another chance. And Hewitt stands stoically with just a few paces. He's forced him to move. 40 love. And again, Hanescu, Fred mentioned it before, he hasn't shown one skerrick of emotion throughout the contest today. Except a little bit of pain here and there. He went for it, missed it. 6-all.
6 games all.
Tiebreaker.
Your players will now receive an additional challenge.
2 hours and 21 minutes of entertainment today.
Both players now, as they go into the tiebreaker, get one additional challenge. So Hewitt has 2 left and Hanescu 3. Normally the tiebreaker favours the bigger server if he can get some first serves in. We'll see how we go here.
You're going to need a few big serves.
Yes, he will.
Yes, from Hewitt once again. Those quick steps to the nets. Again, control. He takes the first point, and that is a mental tick for him.
Look where he played that from. He was so fast, so quick to get in there. He played that from round about waist high because he was able to come through with the slice backhand. Didn't play it from below the net. He was able to guide it cross court. Oh, come on.
What a great point.
Well,
that pickup from Hewitt was unbelievable.
Wasn't it ever? Until the last shot, which was even more unbelievable.
That one there, almost a miss-hit cross-court backhand from Hanescu. Pulled Hewitt way out of court. Fantastic effort to get it back accurately.
Back on serve, one apiece.
Hewitt turned around, looked at his camp and went, what do I have to do?
2-1 Australia.
Well, regardless of the result, Hanescu has played a superb match of tennis today, and Hewitt, well, if Australia manages to win here and win the mixed doubles, although no one wants to get ahead of the game, he will reflect on this match here. Third set, match in its entirety.
3-1.
Too long. Hewitt's again with a break. And is he going to be able to capitalise this time? Victor Hanescu, 28 years of age, against Hewitt, the same age. Hewitt at his very best. On one knee, exhorts the crowd and takes the 4-1 tie-break lead.
What an unbelievable point. Again, the wheels, he's exhausted. You got a crook toe in this one here down the line, and he gets in, and then he's got to play a lob.
Oh, the hair's up at the back of the neck, all around the Burswood Dome. And Hewitt's steely in desire and concentration. Hanescu again with that expressionless visage. Long, seemingly with a mortgage on it now, Leighton Hewitt. And he's been on the precipice on 3 or 4 occasions in this match. 5-1.
Well, you've got to be able to, try and tough it, give as few easy points away as you possibly can in a tiebreaker. And Victor Hanescu is not able to tough it out, to grind out the points. Physically, he's gone, whatever the reason may be. But he can't tough it out. And he's having to go for some shots.
And the crowd absolutely mesmerised and pulsing as one. It's a great sight here, 7,500 plus. And they've been delivered some wondrous entertainment today. And Hewitt now with a 5-1 lead, 2 points from the match. Smooths one in to give himself a whole handful of match points.
Oh, come on.
Sneaky underhand. I love it. It's not
The underarm.
Settle
ball
down,
comes
everybody.
in.
It's not like cricket.
No.
It's illegal. It's a proper serve.
Well,
I think
it
it
was a
could be
pretty good
actually a
play.
very effective serve if you hit it properly.
And let's have a look again. Hewitt with a wry grin on his face. There it is.
Again, quite enjoyed that, Hanescu. A bit of a smile at that one. That's the first time I've seen him smile, I think, today.
Hewitt does it! The fighter goes the full 15 rounds and achieves a marvellous victory under some pressure today. 3-6, 6-3, 7-6. That is as he's done throughout his entire career when playing for his country. Something special emerges, and it needed to today.
Pretty much a standing ovation after that performance, and deservedly so. That's one of the gutsiest performances I've seen in a long time. I've seen a lot of them from Leighton Hewitt, but boy, he had a lot to come up with today, a lot to answer, because Hanescu would not go away. He continued to serve huge serves, took his chances. He had opportunities, Hanescu. Hewitt came back, and then Hanescu had some help from the medical staff, and just physically at the end sort of went away a little bit. But Hewitt, just a gutsy performance to get in and come out with a win for Australia, to keep Australia in the tie.
Yes, they were on tenterhooks there. A loss. It would have been 2-zip.
Done.
Not totally out of it, but you can climb the mountain. Applause for Hanescu. What a match. He's played probably one of the matches of his life today, and has nearly come close to springing what would have been the upset of the tournament, even in its embryonic stages.
Well, certainly it would have been, and Australia favourites going into this, and he was just a couple of points away from putting Romania 2 matches up. But it'll be interesting now to see how things go.
And the crowd, well, they're going to stay around and watch now the Australians with obviously favouritism as their ally. But let's go straight down to Steve Rebillard with the victor.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we know that Leighton enjoys a battle. What a fight he gave us today. Would you congratulate him on a terrific victory? Well, Leighton, you were out there for 2.5 hours. I think you probably worked out a few chinks after a little bit of time off.
Yeah, it's always tough. You know, I hadn't played really for 3 months, so the first match of the new year was always going to be tough. Victor's an extremely tough player. He likes dictating play from the back of the court. He was hitting these serves extremely well close to the line, so it was hard for me to get a lot of rhythm against him. But I was glad the match went 3 sets, because I got better as the match went on.
Were you really glad, though? Because you looked a bit sore at times. Are you okay?
I was doing a lot better than him, I'll tell you that.
It probably took about a set and a half. He was playing beautiful tennis before you could really start to break him down. Why is he so awkward?
He's a great ball striker. He changes pace extremely well. He's very smooth from both sides. He doesn't have one big weakness, so you can't just hammer one side, because he moves extremely well for a big guy, and he loves cutting off the angles and hitting big shots, especially down the line. So I had to just hang in there, try and mix it up a little bit. I served better as the match went on as well, so that gave me a chance to take care of my service games and put more pressure on his.
If we have a look at the big screen, one of the magic moments out of the match, a real test of your mobility the whole match, but in the tie-break especially, you were very strong.
Yeah, no, this was a good point. Obviously, I knew he was struggling a little bit, and I was pretty fired up there, but that's a good pass from that corner there, and obviously the hustle just to get there and make him play another shot. So.
How long since you've received an underarm serve?
Yeah, I don't think I ever have. Maybe in under 10s, I think, when they couldn't hit him in the box. So that was unusual.
And as you look forward now to the mixed doubles, which obviously with Sam you have to win, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, hopefully Sam can carry me. So. I don't play that much doubles these days, but it's a lot of fun to go out there. Sam's obviously one of the best female doubles players in the world. She wins a lot of Grand Slams, so I'm looking forward to it.
And you feel you're in good shape to really chase that top 10 position in 2010?
Yeah, hopefully at some stage. It's not obviously this month the Australian Open's the main goal, not in particular ranking, but obviously throughout the year we'd love to have a crack at the top 10 and try and make the Masters Cup at the end of the year.
Looking forward to seeing you in the mixed. Well done.
Thank you. Thanks.
Do you thank Leighton Hewitt?
Leighton Hewitt's well received as always in Perth. His 5th Hopman Cup appearance. This one of his toughest matches to date. He has clawed his way